Okay, so now we're getting into transitions, how to get to half guard. If a lot of you guys sometimes will get stuck in a half mount. This is not a half guard, this is a half mount. Neil has the underhook. Neil has me flat on my back, and Neil's got a cross face here. So this is definitely a problem. I don't want to be caught in this position. He has half mount, I have half of nothing, okay? This is just my legs is not enough to be a guard. I need to have more. So I'm gonna turn a little bit here, put my hand on his hip, and if I can, I'll put my hand on his hip on this side, but it likely doesn't reach very well. And I'm gonna do a little shrimp and push. And this will relieve the cross face. So if Neil's got his nice cross face, he's making it look that way. This stiff arm will allow me to turn my head. Now that I can turn my head, I can do a little shrimp and get onto my side. Now that I can get on my side, I can start working the underhook. And when I work the underhook, you can work your elbow in and lift to get to your half guard. Try to avoid putting your hand in, because you may just grab his hands together and now your arm's stuck in here, okay? When you go for your underhook, don't bring your arm around your head, because it's gonna choke you. Try to curl your arm in front of his face. And now I'm just gonna put my elbow underneath the crook of his armpit and lift to my underhook. Okay, so if we got caught in our half mount, that's definitely the way we want to go. We want to get push on the hips to avoid the cross face. You should be able to turn your head. Once you can turn your head, you can shrimp to the side. Once you can shrimp to your side, you can start cross facing him and get your elbow in for the underhook. Just make sure you don't go this way. You're gonna get stuck. Elbow should go first. So now, what if he has side mount? And we'll go on this side because everybody seems to love passing to this side. Okay, so the first one is your shrimp. Okay, so he's got his knees in. Good, I want to walk my feet away. As I walk, I turn my torso, and as I come back, I bring my elbow in. Okay, Professor Tyson does this one, does it really, really well. Walk your feet away with your hips, then walk your feet in and bring your torso away. Now I turn this way a little bit. Same way as beginning that underhook before. I roll this hand underneath, and I can just put my hands on his lapel. Shrimp, and start working my guard. Now, it's very common, you get this, you just work one leg in, and now you're stuck. Well, we're almost there. We don't want him collapsing on our legs, so we want to try and get that underhook right away and pull forward. So if we can get to this position, we're going to have a lot more opportunities for us, okay? So again, walk away. Sorry, I'll keep my arms in, just exaggerating. Walk away, arm, walk in, hand in, bridge, shrimp, knee. You got your half guard right away. Start getting your elbow in and lift for that underhook. Okay? Hand on the bicep to avoid the cross face. Now, sometimes you get stuck. Same position. In your side mount, you get some guys that got a good chest pressure. Maybe you can get this arm in, but it doesn't really seem to do much. You can't get underneath the head. So, I'm going to take this hand through his legs. I'm going to grab his pant leg. And I want to try and get it so I can keep it relatively stiff. I want his knee away from my body. And then move around a little bridge and pop it in. Now that I'm here, hands on the hips, push, hand works it in, elbow, up, and into my half guard. So I like this idea of grabbing the pant leg when you get a guy who's really content just to stay here. And it's hard to make any kind of headway or any movement. So if you can get this hand in and grab the pants. This is nice. If they like going for north-south, any kind of movement to north-south and then cutting back like a slide choke, this will help slow it down. Okay, so grab. You can get the lapel on this side if you like, or just put your hand on the shoulder, bridge, and just get his knee off the floor. I just want his knee off the floor enough to slide my leg through. Once I'm there, I'm back to that half. He has half mount, escape the half mount. Push on the hips, I'm on my side, shrimp away, elbow comes in, dive underneath, okay? Mount. Pretty classic. Escape, hands on the hips, shrimp, okay? Start working your guard in. Oh, I got on one side, I have an underhook. Now just get on my side and avoid the cross face. So again with the shrimp, sometimes you get guys that base out well. You can shrimp, got my leg through. Okay, I have my half guard and my underhook on the side. Again, off the other side. Okay, maybe I try to bridge and roll and shrimp, start working my legs in. You'll find that getting half guard from mount is fairly easy. A lot of times, all you need to do is just push on that leg and get it in. Some people get a little lazy with their feet. So if you're lucky enough or someone has a lazy mount, you can get that foot in pretty easily. We'll show you a little bit better way. I want to keep this leg straight inside his feet. Turn my side. There. Now when I start pushing, he'll start to lift his knee. Back to mount. Same thing other side, I'll show you the inside. So this leg, this time will go straight between his feet. I turn on my side. I put my elbow in front of his knee and my foot hits his knee. This puts a little pressure on Neil. If he keeps his foot on the floor, he wants to turn his upper body. Okay, so he doesn't want to turn, so he'll lift his leg. And now you can start working your half guard. Okay, so foot lift from mount is a pretty nice common one. The shrimping from mount and side mounts are very common. Grabbing the foot or the knee from side mount is really nice as well. And Neil's got one for pulling half guard. Some of you guys will get to a point where you actually like playing half guard as a move. So maybe from stand up, it's beneficial for you guys to pull half guard and right away go into something. So if I'm standing up with Neil, he's grabbing a collar, good. And he's jumping right into it. Now Neil likes this knee shield or a Z guard, which we're gonna address in a little bit. This is a really, really good position. It keeps my weight off of Neil and it makes it very, very annoying to try and pass to get past this knee. So again, he's looking at what leg has in front, so the inside leg will go right between. As soon as he makes the grip, he's dropping in and he's putting his leg up to avoid me from trying to pass, right? This knee will stop me from cutting through, and you can see where his hands are immediately going, and later on you'll see some ideas from Z guard as well. So now we got to work on where to go from half guard. Maybe you get caught in a half guard and you're not a big fan of it, you want to go somewhere else, so we have a couple positions to go to. First and most important, whoops. So I have that half guard and I have the underhook, so I've already got it on here. First things first, if you don't like what you're doing, get your knee in, put it inside his hip. I'm gonna push and just start working my closed guard. Most of you guys will have to be a little bit more familiar with the closed guard than your half guard, so it might be worthwhile for you to work into that position. It's always a nice safety. So you have that underhook here. Okay, I'm avoiding the cross face. I put my knee in his belly. I give him a push and just free my foot up. Okay. If he's sitting on your foot, it's going to get a little annoying, but by the time you start pushing his base around, he's going to want to move and adjust. Okay. Now going to the Z guard. Well, Z guard's really, really easy. Neil's not a fan of having me be right underneath him, so it's likely he's going to start trying to control my arm and collar. I can put this knee in. It's easy to create a wedge. It's unpleasant. I'm putting it right in his diaphragm. You can put it in front of the hip. Some people put it across the hip. Some people put it at angles. So it's good to play with a bunch of different places. Keep in mind, the closer this knee comes to the floor, this won't work out so well for me because that's where he needs to be to start passing. Okay, so you want to be careful, but it's a good idea. This knee is really nice, especially if you're tall like myself, to keep people away. And if you can find their diaphragm, it's really annoying. I think you can start working on the collar or on the sleeves, or you can start going to foot on hip. Okay, so this Z guard is going to be a nice medium to transition in and out of positions. Okay, so all it takes a little push. You're here, foot on hip, and you got your spider guards. Okay, so half guard, it's a nice intro into a lot of these other positions. They for a basic game, it's pretty safe to play. You don't have to worry too much, even though they're kind of past your guard. You still have some room to work. And if you want to go into more of the advanced guards, like X guard, which we didn't do yet, it's a nice transition. So X guard, again, this is not a half guard. He has the underhook. I need those three things: underhook, avoid the cross piece being my side. Okay, oops, right. Shrimp up to get my foot in, go underneath Neil, bump him up, and dive underneath for my X guard. So just turn a little bit. Here's the X guard. You guys will see it a little bit more later on. It's a nice X guard position, or a position for sweeping and standing. One more time from this angle. I have the underhook. I want to create that space, put my foot in, and then I dive. When I dive, I bump him up with my knee. Right here. If you can grab onto his sleeve, great. His knee is mandatory, or you can get the sleeve, or you can get a collar. Okay, so any of these things with this X guard, and then shifting his weight around is really, really easy from X guard. So later when we get into the X guards, half guard is a decent transition for it, and definitely opens up the game. So half guard, good for defenses, pretty decent for transitioning in and out of positions.